a girl should never bear a child before her marriage. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master is opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him again and again and again. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Putale Shimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, Bhima Prabhu, the floor is yours. Enlighten us.
Hare Krishna. I'm not here to enlighten anybody. I am here to actually, what do we got? 729. So this is a wild foray of shlokas that have come upon us. And I'd actually like to start this because I'm not one to launch into philosophizing or trying to justify something that is rather unwieldy, heavy to handle. First of all, we begin with a river of names, a river of dynasties, a river of time passing. But if we just take the time to step back a little bit and understand where this river is flowing, as Ananda Bihari was quoting, and his eyebrows went up. And you're going to see, this is why I don't philosophize much. Who was the father of Vasudeva? Anybody remember? His eyebrows went up, and Vasudeva would give birth, would be the father of Krishna. So we have to understand that this river is flowing forever, these dynasties. Krishna arranges everything. And we might not understand the story within a story within a story. There's just so many stories from the Mahabharata, and they're all there to tell people how devotees, non-devotees, and those who are on the fence, those who are confused, these are all stories that, they didn't have TV and movies and stuff like that. Krishna came and he said, here's life. Look at life. Look at the kings. Look at the queens. Look how they're acting. Look at how happy you are with this king who is a devotee of Krishna. So these are things that aren't present in this list of names, that there's a story behind each one of them. And then it ends on this, and then we hear now on purport shloka 34, verse 34, Queen Kunti and her conundrum. Now, I don't want to say anything more right this second. I know there are devotees who have a question regarding this. And I would really very much, I plead with you, somebody ask a question that is on their mind right now. Let's just open this up. Somebody ask a question. Even Ananda Bihari, you save the day if nobody responds. But does anybody have a question regarding this purport and what happened to Queen Kunti?
What does your sexuality have to do with developing love for Krishna?
That wasn't a question, Adi Purush. You took the whole essence of what I was going to be talking about. Oh. I wanted somebody who wasn't clear in the matter, including myself. But let's just start from there. I speak when I'm spoken to. So what does sexuality have to do with it? And I'm going to say very, very little. Remember, this is a river of names. This is a river of faults, of upadis, false designations. We are not kings and we are not queens. There's only one king and there's only one queen. And the only important thing is to remember here is that all these names and all these conundrums and this specific trouble that was basically hoisted upon an innocent young girl, all these lead to one name, and that is Radha Madhava, the lover of Radha. And the only important thing here is to remember that all these kingdoms lead to just one kingdom, and that's Kunja Bihari, the groves, the kingdom of the groves of Rajadan. Bihari, Ananda Bihari, the supreme enjoyer, Das.
Glad you said that.
So, yes. So, we have to have, I'm not sure where it's first spoken. Prabhupada said, Anta dristi. Dristi means vision, and antar means within, internal vision, to understand the heart of the matter. Charan, Chaitanya Charan, the scientist, the Vedic scientist, is that his name? The other day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm sorry about the sunglasses, but I have very sensitive, if I'm looking at a computer. Actually, I just want you to see how cool I am. I just came in, I was going to do this out with the horses, but there was no connection. That's why we had no sound. So here I am in a place that's foreign to me called indoors. He talked about linear and cyclic time. And linear is like this list of names, this river of names. It's flowing. Time is flowing past us, but we always have to understand that time is material. There is no time. Cyclic means this is happening to us right here, right now. Sat. That's what sat means. Here, now. That way, this conundrum of Kunti, Queen Kunti, is our conundrum. Okay, she is going through something, and she will, with her sons, go through tremendous amount of calamities. But in the end, and I will ask, I'm opening this up, and Adipurush cannot answer. What is it, the one thing, after all what Queen Kunti had to go through, all the troubles, what did she say to Krishna directly, in a nutshell? What did she say to Krishna about these troubles? Anyone?
Oh, let them come again and again, because when they do, I remember you.
Yes. So we have to understand that here and now within our own lives. In sickness or in health, for better or for worse, for richer or poorer, we make these wedding vows, at least in the West. Okay. But we make these wedding vows to Krishna. That's what it's all about. If sexuality has anything to do with it, it's that we are Prakriti. We are feminine. We are Krishnas. And every pastime that Krishna goes through, whether it be the gopis calling them with his flute in the middle of the night, that's us. Whether it be we're bathing and he steals our clothes and he wants to see every part of us, rendering everything, including not covering ourselves in front of him, right? We all know we cover ourselves in front of Krishna. That's when we're false to ourselves. When we're false to ourselves, we're false to Krishna. And that's also Sarvadharma, give up all religiosity. Don't worry about it. Krishna already knows exactly who you are and what you look like. And so these pastimes are here and now. Kunti's trouble, conundrum, is here and now. The custom in the purport, Prabhupada says that a custom that a girl should be married with her virginity undisturbed. Now there's physical virginity, and there's also, more important, is spiritual virginity. That is, as Christ said, we must become like unto a child. Otherwise, you will not be able to enter the kingdom of God. Now, what does that mean? We have to become like unto a child. That means we have to regain our innocence. Like the gopis in the river, like Prahlad Maharaj, like Dhruva Maharaj, all the best devotees are children. All the gopis were children, okay? And they still made it past their husbands and their parents to see Krishna, okay? And they were able to give up their false designations of wives and daughters. And they just heeded the call and they went and they surrendered. So if we always remember that the only important relationship and dynasty that forms out of that relationship is Gopi Jana Vallabha, and that Krishna is the lover of the gopis, and he's our love. He's our lover. And that sexuality, physical sexuality, is just a delusion, but it's a reflection of that intimacy that we need to share with Krishna directly. The only real dynasty is Ras, is the Rasa dance. The gopis looking for Krishna and Krishna lamenting over Radha. This is the drama that we have to pay attention to in our own lives. That as we seek Krishna, he's already seeking us. He's waiting until we uncover ourselves. So antardristi, we have to have internal vision. That's why we always say, no sense gratification, sense gratification, sense gratification. We have to keep it at bay. Why? Because it's outward. It's into this world. We're looking into the world. We're following an illusion, okay? We are following that Maya, that which is not. All the media, everything that we're hearing in the news, everything that goes on around us, everything that disturbs us, this is Maya, that which is not. If we are, Prabhupada said, the sign of a pure devotee is that he's always jolly, he's always happy, because he's always in Vrindavan, and he's always with Krishna. So we have to, the sense gratification isn't about stifling natural, urges, and then we get married to, at least not be hypocrites and stuff. No, ultimately, the reason why we don't engage in sense gratification, and especially sexuality or sex life, is because that's Krishna's purview. That's his, he owns us. We're his. When you engage in sense gratification on that level, oh, Prabhu, would you like a nice vegetarian meal, Prabhu? I'll protect you from everything. Let's be together. Let's be intimate. Yes, I'm thinking of you. Are you thinking of me? It's all away from Krishna. The best thing that a Mataji could do would be to say, I'm Krishna's, get away from me. Sorry, that's the way it is. You get married to learn a lesson. That's what sexuality has to do with it. Go get your ass kicked. If you've got a real Mataji who loves Krishna, she's gonna show you the ropes. She's gonna stiff arm you like a football player running down the field. When her goal is Krishna, she's gonna run out that door to Krishna's flute. I remember, who the Prabhu told. Very quickly, I was talking to Adi Purusha saying, yeah, my one Maya is I love MMA. I used to do a little fighting in college. And that's when I met Radhanath Maharaj, and he, we had a big contest. That's a whole nother thing, but to defeat me, and I had to surrender. I got my blank handed to me. But I said, my one Maya is sometimes I watch the fights. I love the fights, because it's just mano a mano, one man is just, it's the best man who wins. And I just, and then I said, to bring it to Krishna, I said, that's what Krishna did in the arena, in front of Kamsa, in front of the gopis, in front of all the cowherd boys, with the festooned columns in the arena with Chanura and Mushtika. That was MMA. There was kicks, there was throws, there were punches. And I said, and Adi Purusha says, let's talk about the real blood sport, marriage. So that was really, I just like, yeah, you're right. there's nothing more painful. But anyways, I'm off the subject matter here. So I just want to very quickly read Queen Kunti's prayers, part of them. Srimati Kunti said, "O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all." That means he's here now, Paramatma. And also, if you're chanting his name, he's there in his names. If we actually believe that Krishna was his name, as we've been told by all the acharyas, Lord Chaitanya himself, we would have no problem paying attention to our chanting if we actually believed it. So beyond, Queen Kunti goes on, beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. And we only stare into that curtain when we go away from Krishna. You can't do both. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. So we see that basically what we're saying here, it's not like an actor dressed as a player, but exactly as an actor dressed as a player. That means Krishna is Leela. This is his drama. These dynasties, this river of names is a big drama. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women in it, Prabhujis and Matajis and Prabhujinis, and we're all actors on a stage, and we're here to learn. And sexuality has something to do with identifying with the costume somebody is wearing. Anybody coming off stage or somebody who knows that they're involved in a great play, a great Leela of Krishna, here and now, also understands that our upadis, our false designations, our costumes that we wear, male or female, are just costumes. And it's a fool who looks at somebody else and says, "Oh, but you're a woman and you have to follow this custom and you're supposed to obey me and you're supposed to be submissive to me." That's a fool. And a Mataji says, "Oh, please, Prabhuji, you have to help me. You support me. You are my emotional support. Krishna is your emotional support." And then Kunti goes on, "You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then," here we go, even Queen Kunti, "how then can we women know you perfectly?" But then she answers the question. You got to listen to this. "How then can we women know you perfectly?" Then she says, "Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, Nandana, the son, child of Yashoda, and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, the enlivener of the cows and the senses, the lover of the gopis." That's understanding Krishna perfectly. Understanding between matter, if you just understand Krishna, you always turn to Krishna. Krishna will reveal the difference between matter and spirit. You can philosophize all you want, but ultimately the curtain of deluding energy will override you in a second. I've seen, including myself, devotees who had it all and and they thought that they knew. They thought they were the knower. They thought they were the doer. I know this for a fact because that's just what I thought. And what you end up in is behind the curtain of deluding energy. In a moment, it descends like an iron curtain. So Queen Kunti goes on, "Namaha pankacha nhapaya, namaha pankacha malini, namaha pankacha nitraya, namaste pankajangari. My respectful obeisances are unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with a depression like a lotus flower, who is always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with lotuses." This is knowing Krishna perfectly. It's very simple. Even a child, become like unto a child. since this is near Christmas, I quote from Christ. So Queen Kunti says, as mentioned in the beginning, I wish that all these calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again. For you, for that means we will no longer see birth and death. So these calamities that are going on around us are to bring us closer to Krishna. So you should only not fear what's going on at all. You should not fear. You should only fear not remembering Krishna. So I'm going to stop here, 7:49, and open it up for any questions that perhaps Adi Parush can answer. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. I just wanted to reflect quickly the one point that you made that I liked. First of all, of course, this word Prabhujini, I really liked it. It's really funny. Prabhujini, it's really good. And yeah, how when the marriage, when you see your partner as someone who belongs to Krishna, then it's a whole different ball game. Rather than it's my property, it's to satisfy my needs, or for me to protect. It's such nonsense. And but when you see it's your wife as Krishna's property, then everything falls into place perfectly. No more blood.
And yes, there is blood sport, because you should protect your wife. Krishna has handed her to you, and you know when you get married, the woman puts the red right here in the red. Yes, what's that called? Anybody? What's that called? That red that goes between the part. The Prabhujinis should know what that is.
Kumkum.
I know it's kumkum, but what it is it's the blood of your rivals. Okay, that's what it is, the blood of your rivals. So that anybody should ever present any type of harm to your wife or anybody who is in harm's way, whether they be male or female or child, you should be willing to shed your own blood. That's what Christ said, because this is all about love. The greatest form of love is that you'd be willing to give your life. So yes, go on. Hare Krishna. Any more questions?
Hare Krishna, Bhima Prabhu. Thank you for class. Wonderful
Haribol, Haribol.
see you.
You look like the sun. You look like the sun.
It's Krishna's light, you see. I just want to reflect. I love the way you said the river of names, and it makes, my favorite song is John Harrison's Like a River to the Sea, and that, the Bhagavatam is like a river pushing us. We're caught up in the flow now towards the 10th canto. And I love how you said that. I feel like I'm coasting on all those great souls' names as they take me closer and closer to Krishna. So thank you for that very poetic way of describing this river of names that are taking us closer and closer to Krishna. So thank you for that.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's smooth surfing. It's a river of names. Yes. And yes, and it's a nice ride. The Bhagavatam. I spent 10 years, my first 10 years in the movement was in a van riding around doing Sankirtan, what we called back then the pick. And we worked so hard at myself personally. I didn't have time to read the Bhagavatam enough, and now that I am reading it, wow, it just makes everything so much easier. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? This is like radio silence.
Hare Krishna, Bhima Prabhu. It's Andrea.
Hare Krishna. Haribol, Andrea.
I'm curious as to how would those of us who are grihastas and are married and find that being married helps us continue in our Krishna consciousness and evolve in it, how would we interpret the whole idea of marriage as a blood sport?
No. Well, that's of course if you're fighting. If you're not fighting, if you throw down and don't fight with your wife by approaching her for a male, approaching her for sense gratification, or if the female, straightens out her husband. It's actually the duty of both of them. But you don't fight because Krishna is always first. You're performing for Krishna. You're together in Krishna's service, like Yashoda and Nanda. You're totally centered. You're going side by side. It's a parallel thing. This is the blood sport. Okay, we were talking about the blood. I'm coming at you, my wife. Why didn't you prepare me prasad? Why didn't you do this right? And then the Mataji or the Prabhujini, who should be a Prabhujini, she should be a master as well. Queen Kunti was a queen. Okay, what she says in and of itself, her prayers are enough, if you know them, to make you a pure devotee if you follow them. Because then you're ready for the blood sport of life, because you're like, bring it on. Give me a fat live, bring on life. Because I'm just going to depend on Krishna. He's the strength of the strong. He's the intelligence of the intelligent. He's our very life force. Everything. He's the reservoir. Saboteur, omber, bhuva, tat, saboteur. He's our reservoir. Okay. So if we always remember Krishna, we become like this. And then here's Krishna, and he's beautiful. And this guy's happy, and this girl's happy. And when they're happy together, Krishna is happy. So that's how, but you should always be ready for blood sport. Always be ready. Yes. These days, if some Prabhuji tries to get it over on you saying, you can't do this, you can't say that, you can't give a class, you can't lead, you can't have thoughts of your own, then you get the fists up. You say, let me talk to you about Queen Kunti. Hare Krishna. Anybody else want some blood sport?
Yeah. Is there a concept in marriage of duties towards your counterpart? So we understood that doing your duties towards Krishna keeps you side by side, and then you don't collide. But is there a thing where a husband, for example, has duties towards his wife, and the wife has certain duties towards the husband, and when that's not being done properly by either party, then sometimes frictions come. Mm-hmm.
That's because all duties, everything you do, should be done with love. Love is the only answer to everything in regards to marriage. If you love Krishna, then you'll see Krishna in your wife. If you love Krishna, you'll see Krishna in the things that your husband is saying to you. Your Prabhuji. Your Prabhuji is Prabhuji because he's transparent via media. As soon as his false ego steps in, smack him one. Shut him down. Okay? But when he's talking about Krishna, then listen. And then you can talk about Krishna back to him, because you also did your sadhana this morning. Right? You got to pay attention to Krishna first in all things. And then you won't have friction, because love is the ultimate. I was going to say something, but I shouldn't. But love keeps that friction from happening. Okay. It's the ultimate lubricant. Okay. Okay. So you're I'm sorry. Anyways, it'll keep you guys smooth with each other, okay? Because you love each other, because you love Krishna, because you're seeing Krishna. You're like that. If your wife comes at you, I'm going to stand up, because my wife comes at me all the time with her elbows out like this, like a cobra's hood. She makes herself bigger, and she launches into me. Right? What'd you do about the horses? You almost got me killed. That's usually the thing. I almost always get her killed. Right? And she comes at me and just rakes me, and I have to actually sit there and say, this is Krishna, this is Krishna, this is Krishna. She could be entirely wrong. And I have be tolerant as a tree. I have a couple of axes outdoors. I've used them. I've launched into a tree with an axe, and you know what? No complaints. So if your Mataji is even wrong, if your wife is wrong, if the soul that you are going side by side with on your way to Krishna, down the row your boat merrily down the stream, guess who's in that boat with you rowing on the other oar? Your wife. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Okay, so if you are doing that, then you will always realize that you're both heading in the same direction. It's a smooth ride down that river. You're on that river of names. Who will remember? Okay, we are part of that river of names. This is Lord Chaitanya's movement. This is a dynasty. Prabhupada started a new dynasty. There's a whole family tree. You know, and some branches broke off, and some twigs, and some leaves, you know, fly away. But ultimately, we still got that tree. We have that root. We have that root. Prabhupada, Bani. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going on and on. Any other questions? Oh, so anyways, just get along and go along, basically, and just put Krishna first. If you're angry, know you're wrong. If it comes up in your chest, you know, if that tension comes up, you're wrong. Guess what? You're wrong. If you're smiling and saying, I love you, me and you are together, let's go all the way. I want you there when I'm taking my last breath. As long as it isn't you with your hands around. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Where's Adi Purush? Did he go out and what is he doing? Service?
He has to move the car at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. I love Adi Purush. He's something else. I used to travel with him. I used to travel with Adi Purush. I was constantly humbled by his just unbelievable tenacity to just keep going and going and going.
Oh yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Please, anything, not just questions, please. Anything that struck you. If you're still disturbed about the fact that it's custom that a woman shouldn't have a baby out of marriage, guess what? That baby is Krishna's. As soon as you have them, that's Krishna's baby. So you had them, the custom's gone. You replace the word custom with Krishna's. Everything is Krishna's. Okay? So no matter what you do, just give it to Krishna. And then everything's all right. In a moment, everything becomes all right if you put Krishna first.
Beautiful. Bhima
Hare
Prabhu, thank
Krishna.
you so much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in, for contributing to this class. Bhima Prabhu, thank you very much. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Thank you for inviting me. I just want to say that you guys are Desire Trees. I listen to you. I listen to the lectures given by every one of you. I listen to the questions. I'll go right because the Bhakti Center, the Darshan, but it's like you fulfill my desires for association because I'm in the middle of nowhere in regards to association. So Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for inviting
Everybody
me.
loves you,
Hare
Bhima
Bol.
Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you.
Somebody does. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Have a
Hare
wonderful day. Have a blessed day. See you tomorrow. Come back.